that I'm one of the 300,000. So when I came maybe 2 months ago and told y'all that I was unemployed, I'm switching to entrepreneurship, like I was so focused on what was happening to me, I didn't realize that this was literally happening to 300,000 women, Black women across the country. We've been fooled. We've been bamboozled. We were told, get the degrees, get the education, get the experience, be professional, dress a certain way, talk a certain way, and you'll never be without. You'll be able to climb the ladder. They'll never be able to fire you. And then boom, 300,000 Black women lost their jobs in the last 90 days. It doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me. I know it's not going to sit right with anyone who listens to this, who has any empathy or understanding of what it means to be a Black woman in America. And now we are being targeted. We are being targeted. We have to go into this newly shifted workforce that is minus 300,000 Black women and compete with multiple degrees, with years of experience, with all the professionalism in the world. Now we have to go against mediocrity. Yes.
Good evening, gentlemen, and a few of you ladies that may be listening. This is Spiritual Art of War, back at it again with another episode. And this time we're going to talk about the 300,000 Black women that have been laid off, which is, unprecedented. So it's a lot, but they were more affected. There was an increase of, white women being laid off as well, but not nearly as much. And this comes from like the strike down of DEI hires. And this can be done, not only at the federal level, but the state level, even in Texas. So if they feel like you're a DEI hire, and they could just get rid of you if you work for some of these state or federal or local governments. And that could open up the door for more, quote unquote, white people to be hired for those positions. And I don't want to unfairly rain on the parade of Black women, because I know I've seen certain situations already where you have certain Black women that are, that are highly educated, meaning they have the merit, they have the credentials. In fact, in some ways, they're even overqualified, and they got like a state or federal position, and they were part of the being let go. Because see, what happens is when they paint with a broad brush at everybody that's working, everybody that's Black that's working somehow, like got some kind of unfair advantage to get their job, then now you can just apply that to anybody that even has, the qualifications, even if they're overqualified for the position, and use it as a way to say you were a DEI hire, you're gone. Yeah, and this even kind of builds off of what I talked about before with women. This is actually going to be trending to hurt younger women as well, because you got to think about it and I've seen young women. I'm talking about high school, not high school age, but college age as well. Because think about it, if they're in college right now and they're going to be looking to graduate and they're going to be looking for jobs, one sector that's going to be harder for them to go to for jobs is going to be at the federal level. And if you know anything about like the DMV area, it's known for having a large percentage of Black professionals. Okay, this is a lot of people when they graduated from college, they would use their education level qualifications to go and move to seek opportunity in DC, and they would get some decent paying jobs in various departments of the government, and get paid pretty well. And that was a hustle. That was a thing going on for a very long time. I mean, you got to think about it, if you're especially a place like Howard University that was known to be an HBCU. I can only imagine how many Howard University graduates literally just graduated or applied to like a government job through the what was understood to be available, and bam, they get hired. They stay in DC. They go get themselves a nice apartment, and they're living like that bougie life. That's how that whole Prince George County kind of got built up to be a upper middle class community. Middle class / upper middle class community. It was because of that. And it's the DMV area is a very nice area to live in. Especially like if you're in some of the nice parts of Maryland and Northern Virginia and parts of DC. I've been out there. Have I been out there? I think I might have been there like 2 or 3 times over my life. And the last time I went was for a wedding, and that was like in September. So this was like, I think, Labor Day weekend, and it was nice. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely nice. I understood why people like the DMV. It's definitely a very nice metro area. Has a lot to offer. Has all 4 seasons. Has a lot of like nice spots to hang out at. You also got access to certain historical things that you can check out as well. Especially if you live there and you have people coming in from out of town, you can take them to different places that are historical. Especially the White House. Everybody knows 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, probably the most famous address in the United States. And we got this situation going on with the sisters, and this is why you hear this is one of the reasons why you're going to hear the rhetoric continue to increase, where these women are going to continue to complain about the lack of men, the lack of men that don't have money. And the thing about it with women only do not care about the facts. They only care about narratives as a whole. They don't understand that even amongst white men, there's only like 10% to 12% of them that have 6-figure jobs. Okay? When you talk about even among Asian men, a lot of Asian men who are in the tech sector, they were STEM, they were in, doing all these like software engineering, programming, they're getting let go because AI is taking over a lot of their stuff as well. I mean, you could create a whole Tetris game on ChatGPT. You could just tell ChatGPT to create a Tetris game for you, and it'll do it for you in a minute. That you could play like on a particular site that you could just go to, and GitHub or whatever it is that they use, and you can literally be playing Tetris, bro. Like Nintendo level Tetris that ChatGPT creates for you to enjoy. So you got a lot of stuff that's kind of going on right now, and a lot of your physical labor style jobs, they're not going out because robots can't do a lot of things that are physically demanding. They can do certain things, but there are certain things that require like the human intellectual capacity to like figure things out and problem solve on the fly that a machine just can't do right now. A robot just can't do. A robot can do a task and do it repetitively and do it better than humans because they don't get as tired. They just need maintenance and monitoring, but for the most part they can do certain things. You can see this even with assembly lines. You can see this in a lot of like industrialized countries where a lot of the car parts are put together by these AI robots or these machines that do certain functions that is more efficient for them to do than a human being. So a lot of people got to understand is that we're in a time now where the family unit this is where the trap, and I think I even discussed this because I kind of have different things that I'll say even during some of my videos that I'll bring up, and I might go into it for 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'll go right back to the rest of the topic because a lot of this stuff is interconnected. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about in the videos, they're interconnected. It's not like they're independent of each other. They're all interconnected. All the topics, if you really look at it. That's why I go into a wide variety of topics because all of them are kind of interconnected. It's like a web. Okay? And they're not isolated from one another like people would think. Okay? They're not in the vacuum. They're all connected. It's like a butterfly effect. So when you see these women out here, and a lot of these women are like women that have been established, they've been able to take care of themselves, they lose these jobs. Now they want to get these same jobs back, because some of these jobs that they lost were very good paying jobs. These are jobs, the kind of jobs that a woman that's single can comfortably live off of in a lot of these cities. And they can basically be the independent woman. They can live the Sex and the City life. And they can run the streets and do as they please until they, can find a sucker to marry them that they don't really care about, because they really care about the guy that got away, or the guy that doesn't want to settle with them because he got them on the rotation with other women. So they just settle down for the sake of status and because they feel like they need a little bit more financial stability, not emotional stability, financial stability. And that's the reason why they would, want to get legally married a lot of times. So, and this is kind of goes back to what I said before about the choices that men will have. When I keep telling you that the high value male trope is out of there, bro. If you got a car, reliable transportation, a one-bedroom apartment with a one-bedroom, one-bath apartment, heck, probably even in some cases, even a studio apartment, and it's furnished, you got food, water, you got a TV, you got a flat screen TV with Netflix subscription, Disney Plus, Hulu, whatever it is. You are literally the new high-value male. I've been saying it. Because women are going, they're going to have to get in where they fit in. They can't just have these fantasies forever. Now, here's what I say. With all these women that are entering into the unemployment and going to struggle to probably find jobs. And that's why I'm not gloating about this, because, anybody can lose a job for whatever reason, right? So this is not something to kind of gloat out and have a celebration. This is what I tell you. Remember, I said it before. Do not get with a woman that's looking for help. You need a woman that's looking to help you. I'm going to say that one more time. Do not get with a woman that's looking for help. Get with a woman that's looking to help you. And whatever help that is that you need as a man, that she wants to put herself to add value to you and your situation, and she's going to follow your lead. Okay? Because a lot of these women, they really just be looking for help. And I always tell you, I keep telling you that the older the woman, the more she's going to angle herself towards you just really for help, not because of genuine desire. Okay? I always say this, the psychology of a younger woman, younger, inexperienced woman, is a lot more honesty. Because if she's pursuing you and desiring you, a lot of times she's emotionally attached to you, and it's a genuine desire there for her to really want to be around you. You're not going to have to take her to a fancy steakhouse, take her out on trips. You're not going to buy her a car or a Birkin. She's not going to be requiring that because she hasn't acquired a taste. And now you can basically build up what it is that you want from her a lot easier. She's a lot more moldable. And for her, she's happiest when she's around you. When you get back from work, she can't wait to see you. When you decide that you're going to take her somewhere, she doesn't care where, as long as she's with you. An older woman don't think like that. They want to be somewhere that makes them feel good about themselves. So you have to take them somewhere expensive or somewhere exotic. Young woman, you can take her to Chipotle. She happy. You get back from work, take a shower. You're like, hey, I'm going to come pick you up. We're going to Chipotle. She happy. She happy. She's just happy to be with you. That little $10 you're going to spend on a bowl for her is worth it to her to eat with you. Because that's what she's enjoying. She's enjoying you. You're the environment. You're the exotic location. So that's why I tell men, man. At the end of the day, man, you ain't got to listen to me, man. Because I know, bro. I know historically, like, when I look back at situations that I had in the past, and I'm like, damn. When I look at some of the older women, I'm like, damn, bro. Like, they was never gonna be happy. Because I even look at them now. I kind of, I might see their stuff, and I'll see what they're dealing with now. I'm like, through. You know what I'm saying? The girls just, you really look her up, man. Single mother, wasted. You know what I'm saying? All kind of, got rainbow flags all up in the profile. You're like, oh, snap. Gotta dodge that bullet. She out of there. You see them gaining weight, and sometimes they become single mothers. Maybe struggling. You'd be like, dang, how much more easier would it have been if you just, stayed and played your part. But they couldn't see it because they were in their emotions. You know? But these women are going to be making a lot of hey big head texts. I'm going to tell you that much. Because the thing about it is, they need a soft landing spot. And some of these men that they know are already in a position where they're capable of taking them in. And some men are going to entertain that, and they're going to regret it. Because some of these women, they're really going to resent you because they had to come to you. Because they wasn't rocking with you before the layoff, so they had to look at you and go down that Rolodex and be like, okay, I know he liked me. He got a good job, even though I don't think he's cute. But I need somewhere to stay. I need somewhere to lay my head. I need somewhere I could take a shower, where I could, rest and eat. And I don't want to be in no woman's shelter. I don't want to go back home to my parents' house. I don't want to go back, because some of these women, they from some treacherous areas. It might be a female that went to college, graduated. She from Memphis. She from the north. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, I'm not going back to Memphis. And she might got a guy that likes her. He might be living out in Nashville, got a nice little spot. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't really find him that handsome, but he might have went to college with her. And she got his information. She maybe follow him on Facebook, but not on Instagram. But she got his number. So she might see how he's doing and like, okay, he's single. Let me hit him up and just, see what he's up to. And then she gonna use that as an opportunity to go travel to Nashville and act like she just doing something. She might be applying for jobs out there, but she might want to just, while she's looking for a job, hey, let me just stay here and just keep applying. I'm gonna just go and live with him. And you gotta remember, these older women, they learn because of their experience with having a lot of relations. A lot of times they gotten to the point where they already exchanged their body for money. And they are willing to do it and escalate to the next level, escalate their body for a whole, relationship, meaning to be taken care of in a relationship. So a lot of people don't understand, like, you're dealing with some women that could be very treacherous in how they're moving because they're looking for help. Desperate times come for desperate measures, man. That's what happens. They start exercising different aspects of the playbook. Okay, the secret part of the playbook that nobody know about. The Statue of Liberty play and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you. All kind of stuff. So that's kind of what it is, man. How's it going to affect these younger women coming up, like the ones that are currently in college? Well, their prospects is going to be lower because they're graduating from college, and I've already seen some. I've seen some of all races, actually. I've seen like a report about, people complaining about how they graduated college, and some of these people had like very nice degrees, like even STEM degrees, and they still hadn't, gotten a call back, and they've been, they graduated last spring. So it's going kind of across the board in a way, and unfortunately, there's a subset of these women that will go into the sex work. They, depending on the city, or they might move, and that's kind of a problem as well. Which I told you about, that's going to happen with a lot of these younger ones that are currently in high school. Like the ones that are in high school right now, because you got to kind of look at it from like a 4 to 5 year run. They're going to come out, and there's going to be no jobs available for them to make enough money to get their own place. So unless they share with other people, like get an apartment, split rent, that's like one of the ways they'll do it, or they're going to have to stay home. And a lot of young people, they want to be independent. They don't want to stay home. And there's going to be a subset of those that are going to decide to go and do either, any kind of nefarious activity. You got the boys, they might get into drug dealing, they might get into jacking, they might get into scamming, because maybe they can't find a job and they want to kind of be on a level among their peers. Then you got the same thing with the females. They want the good things too. They want to get on a particular level. They want to have their own spot. They want to be able to, get the new iPhone and all that stuff. And then their parents, their mother, most of these women are raised by single mothers. So they're going to go to their mom like, I graduated high school, but, I need this, mom, I need this, I need that. And mom's going to be like, go get a job. And they're going to fall out. Heck, they start falling out. A lot of times they moms, like when they be 14, 15 years old. Right when they hit puberty, and the mom is kind of has this views the daughter as a threat, it's some this animosity, this cattiness that occurs. And then damn near the mothers be abandoning their daughters, bro. That's what be happening. Listen, man, bro. I would say that I don't watch them all the time because you kind of really get sad to hearing some of these stories. Atlanta Street Interviews, man. Soft white underbelly. Don't overconsume it because you will get depressed, man. It is some bad stuff going on. That's why I even give kind of a little bit of leeway to people's situation, because you don't know how people grew up. Got to show a little bit of grace, because some people's mentality is kind of shaped a little bit by their environment. I'm not saying to allow them to do whatever they want, but you got to kind of understand why some people move a certain way. And I see why some people move a certain way when you watch some of them things. You're like, bruh, there's some people that with some treachery. I'm talking straight up child abandonment, like crazy stuff. You know, and that's happens with a lot of females, man. A lot of females fall out with their mothers quick, especially in their teen years. And if their mom, unless their mom is playing like mama friend, because that's what a lot of these youngsters want. They want their mom to be mama friend. They want them to allow them to have boys over. They want them to allow them to smoke weed. They want them to allow them to go out and party and stay out all night and not come home and have a curfew. And then these kids will start clashing with their parents, like, you know, you can't tell me what to do. I'm grown. I can y'all can go out and go to a party and yada yada yada. What are you telling me to do? So yeah, get very treacherous, man. And it's gonna be interesting to see, because a lot of people just thinking about that 300,000. That 300,000 that was let go. That's also, it means they got to find other jobs in other areas. And then what does this mean also for those that are coming up after them? You know, and you got to think about it, like, as you know, black people, so-called black people, we're not willing to live anywhere in the country. A lot of us, we want to live in like 4 or 5 different cities. You know what I'm saying? Especially among the youngsters, because they want to be where it's popping. And I'll hear about people trying to move to New York because New York is so expensive. Unless you're from there and you got family there, then, you know, you have a way to like latch onto that to survive. You know what I'm saying? So people ain't really thinking about that. They thinking about Atlanta. And Atlanta is full. Atlanta's getting gentrified. They think about Miami. Miami is pretty much, you know, one of the most expensive cities in the world. You know, you talking about Houston, to a lesser degree, you can say Dallas. Outside of that, you really can't think of much, bro. Maybe Chicago, because in the Midwest, Chicago is the hub. Maybe Chicago, especially people from there that visited there, maybe have family there. And, you know, Chicago is actually a nice city. It's just that it has the reputation from the gang violence that occurs in certain parts of the city. But the rest of the city is popping. I've seen a lot of pictures of people like posting stuff, and I'd be like, oh, where's that? And I look up, so it says Chicago. I'm like, oh, dang. You got that over there? You got people living out there like in downtown Chicago, overlooking the water, overlooking all kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, snap. You know? Then they got good. I heard they got good restaurants too. Got some good food out there. So, you know, you got people that are moving around, but, you know, they're not going to take it. Like, if there's a job growth in Boise, Idaho, you know, like you ain't thinking like, let me go take this job out in Boise, Idaho, or let me go to Des Moines, Iowa. You know, it's funny because I seen a guy, he does a street interviews, and he was out there in Des Moines doing street interviews, and I was like, dang, that's different. Because usually people want to do street interviews in the cities that's like known for partying or known for, you know, that are popping, so to speak. And he was out there, and there was like a few black people he was interviewing that was out there too. And I was like, oh, snap. You know, Des Moines. But like me, myself, I'm not thinking like if I'm going to move to another city, I'm not having Des Moines, Iowa on my short list. So that's kind of what hurts black people too, because a lot of times there might be like economic growth going on in a particular city, but we won't go there because, you know, understandable, man. The race is a major issue. We want to be where we say safety in numbers. There's a saying, safety in numbers. You don't want to be somewhere where you might be, you know, you feel out of place. You know, the social condition could be kind of different or whack. Like, unless it's like a growing area where you're like, okay, you know, people are moving there, we can consider that place. You know, just like Vegas. You know, Vegas, a lot of black people started moving from LA or California to Vegas. You know, Vegas has a decent it has a noticeable black population. It's not a lot, but it's the, concentration percentages wise, it's better than like LA right now. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. It's going to be something that's monitored, but I'm seeing some TikToks on it. And, like I said, I'm not glowing on it. I just know that kind of what comes out of it as men, you got to be aware of them pay big head techs. These older women, they're the worst because they know how to manipulate men. They have some tricks up their sleeve. So you got to be careful with those, because they could be hitting you up because they're looking for help. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, the family unit that was supposed to be together, it's like the thing that black people just really don't want to address the right way, because it keeps women accountable. Because when we look at the numbers, the women are kind of the forerunners of a lot of the issues, and they want to blame the whole group of men, but it's like the majority of women are moving in a certain way. How are you going to build families? And these women are losing the productive black men to other women. These women don't want a Marquise Brownlee unless they see he got millions of dollars. And I'll tell you this, they'll wait till they're older. They'll wait till they have kids with the men they want to have kids with, and then they'll go to a Marquise Brownlee or your average consumer type guy, which, by the way, your average consumer, he's married to a black woman who was like his high school sweetheart. So she's benefited from the millions that he's making off of his content, reviewing tech gadgets. Marquise Brownlee, last I checked, he was like dating a white girl or whatever. And he's been around for a minute. He's like one of the leaders of that. He's even before Unbox Therapy and a lot of these other guys that kind of blew up later. So, and he's worth so much money, it's ridiculous. Like, he's makes so much money every year, it's insane. Then he's like executive in a couple of different companies where he has like, marketing deals with them, and bro, real crazy stuff like D-Brand, Ridge Wallet. So he's making a ton of money off of that. You know what I'm saying? And on top of his YouTube stuff, he even got his own sneakers, by the way. Marquise Brownlee, yeah, he got his own sneakers. That's how deep in the game he is. But sisters ain't gonna check for him. I'm telling you, bro. And this is part of the problem. Like, when you don't want productive men of your own ethnic group / race, you fall behind other women. And these type of situations, you're more harmed by, because you're not linked up with another man. You're not in marriage, So you're more vulnerable. As a woman, you're more vulnerable. And unfortunately, the way these economy is going and some of the changes is occurring, it's occurring very rapidly. So it's hard to anticipate some of these things coming. Especially when someone has that job and you're like, oh man, I'm working for 5, 6, 7 years, and I'm making $80,000, $100,000, and you're not thinking that job's ever going to go until it does, until you realize that they're changing some things, shaking some things up. So it kind of is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next